Hey kiddos, so this week we're going to learn about pine cones, and our book is From Cone to Pine Tree, and we're going to learn how pine cones turn into pine trees. Okay, pine cones grow into trees. How do they do it? A pine tree makes pine cones. Pine trees make male pine cones and female pine cones. Male pine cones grow near the bottom of the tree. Female pine cones grow farther up. Okay, so males grow at the bottom and females grow at the top. So these have got to be the boy pine cones. And the female pine cones have got to be up here, right? The pine cones make pollen and egg cells. Male pine cones make pollen and female pine cones make egg cells. The pollen and egg cells need to come together for more trees to be made. Okay, so the males make pollen and the females have the egg cells. And the pollen and the egg cells have to come together to make a pine cone. And a pine cone grows the tree. The pine cones let out their pollen. When the air temperature is just right in the spring, the male pine cones open up. They let their pollen out. It falls to the ground. See all that yellow dust on the floor? It almost looks like sand. That's all the pollen from the male pine cones. That's probably why they're at the bottom of the tree, right? Because they let out the pollen. The pollen fertilizes the egg cell. Wind carries the pollen up near the top of the pine tree where the female pine cones grow. So the air picks up all that yellow pollen that was on the ground and takes it up to the top of the tree where the female pine cones are at. The pollen lands on the female cones. It combines with the egg cells inside the female cones. This is called fertilization. Okay. So the wind has to carry the pollen all the way up to the top of the tree where all the female pine cones are at. And once the pollen gets up here, it's got to get inside the cones for the cones to be able to make more pine cones, and those pine cones turn into more trees. Next, seed grows inside the pine cone. After fertilization, seeds begin to grow inside the female pine cone. But fertilization takes a long time. It can take a whole year. In that year, the female pine cone grows too. They turn into a large woody cones you may have seen. So this is what the inside looks like, and those are the seeds. Okay. So are these down here. You guys see the little white seeds in there? And these are what makes new trees. So this has to fall off the top of the tree. It has to open up and all these seeds fall out, and then they get into the ground and they get water and they get sunshine, and then they grow into a pine tree. The cone protects the pine tree seeds. As the seeds in female cone grow, the cones shelter the seeds. The hardwood outside the cones keeps the seeds safe inside. Even mature seeds stay safe. They are tucked between the petals of the cone. So these are the petals on the outside, almost like a flower, right? And then these are the seeds on the inside, and you guys see how it almost looks hard? I'm sure that if we were able to touch it, it would be really hard, almost like a rock. That's so these seeds can grow so that when they're ready to open up and make a new tree, they'll be perfectly shaped. This one's been cut in half, that's why we can see the inside, right? Then the pine cones open up. Once all the seeds are mature, the pine cones are ready to scatter the seeds. The cones open up their petals. Now the seeds can get out. So that's what it means when it opens up. And the seeds are in the middle of this, so they're going to fall to the ground. The pine cones scatter their seeds. The pine cones release the seeds into the air. Wind and animals help scatter the seeds so they can land in good spots to grow. So an animal that helps scatter it would be a squirrel. See, look, it has a tiny little pine cone. The seeds grow into pine trees. Seeds that land in good soil push down roots and push up needles. They grow into baby pine trees. Little trees get bigger. When the trees are grown, they make male and female pine cones. The cycle begins again. So that's what a tiny little pine tree looks like when it's just starting to come out of the ground. Super cute. Right, and then that's today. So today I want you guys to focus on your writing and tell me what's the difference between a male and a female pine cone. And remember, it said that male pine cones are at the bottom. Female pine cones grow at the top of the tree. And I want you to tell me where they're placed. So are males at the top or males at the bottom? Okay? All right, kiddos, have a good day, okay? Bye.